Hello and welcome to the Greasy Bench. Today I bring you 5 bells, 2 radios, 2 horns, and a whistle. This is all about being heard. Most of us carry a small bell in our bicycles just to announce our presence to motorists, but the question is, how much do they hear us? Especially now that it's winter and everybody has their windows rolled up. Different bells with different kind of sounds. Aluminum bell. This one is kind of stuck, but it's an old bell. Compare, like, let's say with the horn, the electronic horn, the whistle, or the 2 radios. So to measure this, what I'm going to do a little measure here with this sound pressure meter. I'm going to use this here at the Greasy Bench, and then I'm going to go out to the car and we're going to do a small experiment. I will try to do 3 replicates and collect enough data to say how significant this is. So if you are into science and geekiness, please stay with me. So this is a Scottish sound pressure meter. It's a really nice piece of gear if you like to measure your noise floor. And you have different levels here. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a proximity experiment. I'm going to set up this on top of something. This is the microphone. And I'm going to have the microphone pointing at the noise source. And I'm going to have the source at the same distance. So for that, we're going to measure a little bit. So thinking about what's the distance that we have to a car in any given moment, I will assume that we are tend to be somewhere around half a meter from a car, so 50 centimeters. And for you that don't like centimeters, it's going to be somewhere around 20 inches from the car. So I'm going to set up a rig here just to be able to measure the sound from our different sound sources. So now we have here the sound pressure meter. I turned it on already. So my voice, you can see how many changes my voice just created on this thing. So it's a rather sensitive device. I'm going to be quiet for a second just to see what's the baseline here. So the baseline is 33.2. That is close to what is the sound of a library. So I made a simpler chart for this. So I have the noise floor and everything, and I have a percentage of increase over the noise floor. So it's a little bit easier to read here how much the crane bell was over the noise floor of 33.1. It was 153% higher. And the case of the megahorn was 168 higher than the noise floor. Here we have the graphs. So you have the decibels on this column, and you have the noise sources that I use. So my noise floor was 33.1 decibels. And some of the devices were rather loud inside the house, like the crane bell and the megahorn. And that was rather interesting. So I decided just to zero on the noise floor to see how much increase I have over the noise floor. So the real decibels that, or close to the real decibel that I got for each device. So in here we have the crane bell increased around 50 decibels, and we have the megahorn that was around 55 decibels. So not bad. It's a quiet room. If somebody ring a bell or use the megahorn or just say, hey, out of my way, inside a quiet room, for sure you're going to hear them. But the interesting thing was when I went to the car. In the car, on the other hand, the crane bell was minus 2% quieter than the noise floor. The megahorn was just 2% louder. So there is a lot of variance here. So different cars, maybe trucks. So that will create a more varied noise level inside the car. And maybe that's why the noise floor is so high. So the noise level in the car was around 52.2. So rather loud. The devices, like for example the crane bell and the rattle were below the noise floor. There's a few factors that could affect. Maybe there was a truck going by, or I live close to a car dealership, so maybe there was some noise from the place. The humming increased. There's several factors that could affect these readings. Also, my sound pressure level meter is not the most accurate. Of all the devices inside the car, the loudest one was the radio. I think the most inconvenient one to use. The interesting thing, when I zero the noise floor, this is what I get. The radio, which was the loudest outside, is just a little bit above 3 decibels. The rusty bell is not here because I actually forgot to activate it, so I have no real data. Are we being heard when we're driving by a car and applying all these noise sources? Maybe not. So we need to be aware that the bell, the horn, or any device that we're using is not going to be your life savior. Normally when we apply the bells, we are a little bit too late in our reaction time. So I would say like the best way to go here is to be more defensive when you ride your bicycle out there. In winter, when everybody has the windows closed, the driver is blasting their music, whatever. You need to be heard and you need to be seen. So be visible, be loud, especially be safe. Thank you for watching the Greasy Band.